Let's take a look at Tuesday in the NBA. A low volume day, but some interesting things to pay attention to. We've got to take advantage of it because there's some big days coming up. Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd and my makeup is done by Anastasia Beverly Hills. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Thank you also for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We are free. We are available on all platforms, so give it a thumb and a double bang. Comment, you know how we like to roll. We are talking about Tuesday's action, 6 games in the NBA on Tuesday. And like I said, because Wednesday is an 11-gamer, Friday is an 11-gamer, so when we're trying to get players in and maximize games played, Tuesday is going to be a day. Now, it is a slightly later start there with a 7:30 p.m. first game tip, but also an incredibly late game as well, which is a 8 p.m. Eastern tip. Again, another one of those ridiculously late ones, so just be on the lookout for that. Let's start things off by just taking a look at some of the big storylines, I guess, across the league for Tuesday. We did get a couple of injury updates that have just dropped now, so I will tell you about those as well. Dylan Harper with the calf strain, multiple weeks. We said about that yesterday when he did that calf strain that you're probably looking at 2 weeks, maybe up to 4, and that's sort of what it's feeling like. We also got the update on Brandin Miller, literally just dropping now, so I'm just looking at it. Reevaluation in 2 weeks. Okay. All right, so at least it's not out for the season. It's still not great, but it's two weeks, and it doesn't appear like there's any other further significant damage with that. So maybe it's a 3-week thing for Miller here. Reevaluation 2 weeks, and at least I'd say 3 to 4 for Dylan Harper. What are the big storylines we want to look at? Like the Pelicans and their mess. Like, it's obviously messy. This is also Tuesday's the first game of a back-to-back for the Pelicans. So what do they do with Zion? Does he play in both of the games? Is Jordan Poole continuing to be pissed off, playing off the bench? Does Derek Queen, how do they respond to that nonsense, where Queen was a garbage time player only? Does he get back into the rotation? Does he start in place of Zion? Is he a 4? Is he a 5? Part of the reason I didn't like Queen as much as a prospect was like, I don't know if he's a 4 or 5. Because he can't really defend, he can't really shoot, but he's this excellent sort of low post guy with scoring and passing touch. It's like, where does it fit in? And I don't really know. And that was the worst team to try and make it fit in. So, like, how does all that sort out? I don't think we get clear answers, but maybe we get a direction or something. In Oklahoma City, I think one of the stories to watch is Cason Wallace, the Hong Kong mattress, and Ajay Mitchell. Wallace has been churning out big steals, but it is worth noting, he's playing like 26 minutes a night. So what happens? Like, Dort's going to come back, and Jalen Williams is going to come back. So what happens? And what happens to Ajay Mitchell's minutes? He was at 30 last game. Does one of those two, like, cut the other one off? I want to see a little bit more of that. And then for the Warriors, they just change their starters all the time. Al Horford is going to sit this game on Tuesday. Is it back to Podziemski, who we're going to cover a little bit later on as well as a streamer for the day? Or do they go back to post? Or what do they continue to do there? I think that is a question that we need a little bit more information on. Let's take a look at some of the injuries that we do need some clarity on. Some injury updates for the medical room for Tuesday as well. There's quite a few of these ones. Like, does Zion play? It is a back-to-back, so I don't know which one he plays. And if he is out, do they go to Queen? Chet has missed like a week now with his back problem, so that's starting to get concerning. Aaron Wiggins has been the guy that benefits, but last game with Lou Dort out, we also got Pig Williams in there, and he's been playing really well. So there's obvious beneficiaries there in Oklahoma City. Does Jalen Green return? I don't think Dylan Brooks does, but Jalen Green might for the Suns. So what does that do to Colin Gillespie? And if Green is out, Gillespie keeps getting that bump. And then we also don't know about the status of Jakob Poeltl. Now, Colin Murray-Boyles has been starting in place of Poeltl, and he's had one good game and a couple of bad ones. What happens with Poeltl in his back? Does Murray-Boyles play 23, 25 minutes anyway? Has he been good enough to suggest that Poeltl won't get that spot back? I don't think so. But he does get that boost at least if Jakob is not available to get out there and play. Let's now just take a look at the games. let's take a look at what is important, who's actually playing on Tuesday, what the spreads are looking like, and the current injury statuses here. Like I said, we've got 6 games on. That first game is that 7:30 p.m. game, Bucks at Raptors. The Raptors are favored by 4. Okay. Hornets Pelicans. We just had that game. I'm almost certain we did anyway. Magic Hawks, 76ers Bulls, Suns Warriors, and last game is the Thunder and the Clippers. That is that incredibly late game. Let's have a look at the individual games and what we do and don't know injury-wise in these ones. The Bucks, Giannis is listed probable. We saw that last time the Bucks played and they ruled him out. I do expect that he plays, so we'll keep an eye on that. But Jakob Poeltl did practice, so he is officially questionable. So it is looking like he is going to be returning it, and then we'll get a little bit more of that answer there on Colin Murray-Boyles and his presence and how they use him. The next game is the Charlotte Hornets and the New Orleans Pelicans. LaMelo sat the last game. I believe it was back-to-back related, so I fully expect that he plays, but this is the first of a back-to-back for the Pelicans. So I have gone ahead and labeled Zion Williamson as questionable because I don't know that he plays both. Or actually, that's not true. I labeled him questionable, but then the Pelicans also came out and labeled him questionable with hamstring soreness. So you're fair to say he's not going to play both games, right? I just don't know which one. Yves Missi also appearing on the injury report as questionable. Now, Missi usually plays more without Zion, but if he is out, does that mean we actually do get to see Queen, or are we going to go a little loony, or does DeAndre Jordan drag his carcass out there? So some definite slate impacting injury tags for Hornets Pelicans. The Magic and the Hawks. The next game, both these teams I thought would be top 4 teams in the East. Both of them are not. They're bad at the moment. Cason Wallace missed the last game. He has been taken off the injury report, so that's positive news. So he'll be available, which is good if you're in deeper formats and you are looking to stream, because he might be a 6-7 assist player. The next game we go to is Philadelphia. They're going to Chicago. Now, I was wrong the other day. I said that Embiid was sitting that game against the Nets because it was a back-to-back. He wasn't. He was just sitting it. But now they actually do have a back-to-back. Tuesday, Wednesday, the Sixers have a back-to-back. So does Embiid play? Does Embiid sit a second game in a row on Tuesday? Or does he play against the Bulls Tuesday, then sit on Wednesday? Kobe White should be still out. Ayo Dosunmu missed the last game. There is a chance here that Paul George is available. I don't think that he will be, but we're getting to the stage where we might be getting a George return. So I'm labeling him questionable. It's probably closer to doubtful. Oubre sprained his ankle late. Nick Nurse said he was fine, so that probably means he's out for 10 years. So just watch that one. And then Ayo Dosunmu missed the last game for the Bulls. The game after that one of the late ones, is the Suns and the Warriors. We already have the news that Al Horford is out. He's sitting the first game of the back-to-back against Phoenix. I don't expect Dylan Brooks to play. Jalen Green is questionable, and Isaiah Livers, not that matters too much, is questionable. But the Green one, and then if Brooks does happen to play, that will change a lot as well in terms of O'Neal and Dunn and Allen and Gillespie, who have been putting up good numbers. And for the Warriors, without Horford there, you're going to get at least a little bit more for post, and you'll probably get Trace Jackson-Davis getting into the rotation as well. The last game of the day is the late one. It is Oklahoma City and the Clippers, and the injury status is here. Well, the Clippers are on a back-to-back. I don't expect Bradley Beal plays in this game, and Kawhi said he will, so we'll keep an eye on that. But the unresolved ones are the Thunder, Lou Dort and Chet Holmgren. They both sat the last game, so we got a lot of Jalen Williams, big Jalen Williams. We got more Wiggins. We get more Wallace. We didn't get more Wallace. We got Wallace. We got some of it. We got more Mitchell. So we need to see here. Now, if Chet is out alone, it generally tends to be Wiggins that they go to instead of Jalen Williams. He was in the 17 minutes instead of 23 or 24. But that is going to be something to just pay a little bit of extra attention to. We're going to come back and look at the schedule and how we manipulate it over the next few days. Today's episode, though, it is brought to you by Game Time. Basketball season is officially here. Nothing beats being there in the arena to watch these games. Getting tickets can be a total headache. Waiting in queues, surprise fees. Prices can jump before you check out as well, which is a real pain. It's frustrating. That's where Game Time comes in, the app that gives you the advantage. The ultimate life hack for scoring amazing NBA tickets fast, easy, and stress-free. You can get NBA tickets on Game Time for less than $25 as well. What you see is also what you pay. There are no hidden fees that get added on at checkout. So take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create the account, and use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. The code is LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. We are here talking about Thursday's action in the NBA, trying to get some streaming stuff going. Let's take a look at the schedule and the ways that we can use it to our advantage to get some extra games into our squad. Of course, at this point of the year, we're not as heavily into streaming. It still can be used. If you've got there's so many guys that will be sitting at the end of your roster that don't really have a shot of long-term top 100 numbers, and you can stream those, but also we're still trying to prioritize and hit on some longer-term value. There are two teams heading into Tuesday with a back-to-back. It's the Bucks and the Clippers. So we've got to watch Giannis, and we've got to watch Beal, and we've got to watch Kawhi. They're the statuses we watch for Tuesday. Heading out of Tuesday into Wednesday, we've got four teams. The Warriors, we already know Horford is out. The Pelicans, Zion. Also maybe Looney, we'd check that one. The Thunder, Chet. Obviously, he hasn't played anyway, and there's no way he's playing the back-to-back. And then the Sixers and Embiid. Does Embiid play Tuesday and sit Wednesday? Does Paul George return at all? They're probably the two ones that we want to be noticing, as I know you are all world-class noticers. What about chunky stuff? What about chunky stuff? Because we can, by the way, if you want a 2-for-1, there's only one option there's only two teams you can do for 2-for-1s. It's the Clippers and the Suns, because Wednesday's 11 games, so we avoid it. But there's only two teams that play on Thursday. There's only one game. It's Clippers Suns. So you would be, if you were looking for a two pickup for one or two games for one move, it's Clippers Suns. But these guys here, Tuesday through to Saturday, these are the guys you can add for some extra games. There's only 3 quality game days between Tuesday and Saturday. It's Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Now, I've already highlighted that the Clippers and the Suns are the only team playing Thursday, and any player from the Clippers and the Suns plays 3 quality games. But there are a couple of other players that you can get at least 2 out of. So the best option here is going to be Derek Jones. There's Chris Dunn, there's Brook Lopez, there's really good Clippers guys. For the Suns, you have Ryan Dunn, Royce O'Neal, Grayson Allen, Colin Gillespie, really strong options. After that, it drops off to be incredibly deep league stuff. But if you're looking for a couple of 2-game guys, there's a Dembona in that mix, who, if you get lucky and Embiid sits on Tuesday, he should play a little bit more, and you get the Tuesday value from him and Saturday. And then there's the spiral, Luke Kennard, who's playing 27 to 30 minutes with Trae Young out. It might not be a great game, but again, getting 2 usable games over the next 5 days, when some teams will give you 1, some teams will give you 0, it's an advantage. So even if Kennard is mid, if you get 60 usable minutes versus 0, I think you know which side you take. You take the 60 every day of the week. If you look at 5s and 2s over the next 7 days, Tuesday through to Monday of next week, does anyone play 5 games? Nope. But the Knicks played twice. So if you were considering, hey, I've got Mitchell Robinson, is that a great hold? Not really. Not really. Do I care about holding Josh Hart through his bad form and this part of the schedule? Well, if you're ever going to make the drop, might be not a bad time here. Any fringy, Juice McBrides or Landry Shamet's, of course, you don't worry too much there. The main guys, don't worry about it. It's annoying that there's 2 games, but it just happens. That's just how things go in the NBA schedule. So let's take a look at the streams of the day. It's not the best day for streaming. Now, stuff will open up once we get news on things like Zion, or even if Giannis doesn't play, or Chet in Oklahoma City. There'll be other things that open up. But at the moment, I do think one of the better streams of the day is Mr. Black, who is playing really well. Not that the Magic are on a back-to-back scenario here where he's going to start, but he's getting 25-plus minutes most nights, so he's a solid streamer. For 12-team leagues, I've got Chris Dunn. You're probably going to get 22, 23, and we're expecting that Bradley Beal doesn't play. Goga Bitadze is, again, somebody that if Wendell ever gets in foul trouble, you see his minutes spike, but even in an 18-minute backup role, because Jonathan Isaac's not really a part of things, Goga's production is solid enough for 14-team leagues. And then for deeper leagues, assuming that he plays, Kevon Looney is rostered literally nowhere because he shouldn't be. But he's a decent steals guy with sometimes good passing. There is a chance that Zion does not play, which will help him a little bit as well. There's a chance he doesn't play maybe, but just keep an eye on that. For Yahoo Points Leagues, as a stream of the day, I do have Wendell Carter Jr. as a guy that's still available in over 65% of leagues and shouldn't be. He's a really good option there. And then for ESPN points, we're looking at Brandin Podziemski. Now, I don't know whether Podziemski is going to start. He's currently averaging 28 ESPN points per game. He is rostered though, in under 35% of leagues on ESPN. Now, understandably, he hasn't been super good. He is averaging, though, 30 minutes per night, and in the games that he's started, he's up to 31 fantasy points a game. When he's off the bench, it's 24. It is a big difference. At the moment, I'm projecting him at 32 fantasy points in a game against the Suns, who are playing very high up-tempo pace games. And I've got him at 32 fantasy points. But if he doesn't start, then you've got to be cautious of that. I still think that he needs to be at least considered as a good stream option on Tuesday. But, of course, we have to have our concerns with the way that the rotations or even his production becomes so inconsistent. But as an ESPN stream of the day option, I do quite like Brandin Podziemski there. I'm going to come back and run through more streaming ones in a sec. Today's episode, though, it is brought to you by FanDuel. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on that action than with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. You miss the start of a game on FanDuel, it's easy. You just jump in, you can bet live, you can bet on comebacks and who will score next, all that stuff. Use your knowledge to see the trends and place those bets. And you can combine those live bets into a same-game parlay as well for a shot at a bigger payout. Right now, FanDuel is also giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So go to FanDuel.com, sign up, and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. And don't forget to gamble responsibly. All right, let's go through some more of these streaming options after we went through those ones. We'll go to 10-team category leagues at first. And again, there's no like massive, huge, awesome standout streams particularly at the moment, but we've got some options that we can go to. So again, we do like Anthony Black, there's Chris Dunn, there's Gogo Badadze, who are widely available. Dunn's also like a good ad because of the 3 games that the Clippers have. Or 4 actually, if you get in before Monday. Fanapants Kevin Huerter probably should be rostered, although in a league that's 130 deep, you're probably better just streaming that spot. And then Alex Caruso is also a really good stream option. Now, it is a back-to-back for the Thunder, so there is, I guess, maybe some doubt that Caruso plays both games. So we just keep an eye on that. For 12-team leagues, consult the first list and then move to this one. Kevon Looney, Cole Anthony, Trace Jackson Davis, only because Al Horford is confirmed out for Tuesday. So Jackson Davis and Post will be playing more center minutes. The Spiral, Luke Kennard, and then Adem Bona, whose value would rise, Bona, if Embiid is out on Tuesday, which he could be. We just don't know which of the 2 games Joel will sit. We also don't know Paul George's status at this point. For deeper category leagues, a couple of Jalen Smith, Bulls backup center, who played a little bit of power forward as well. And his numbers, no one's really talking about him, rightfully so, but Zach Collins is out. And Jalen Smith is doing enough that in deeper formats, you probably just want to be considering him, but no one is rostering him at all. Pig Williams, also a chance to start with Dort and Chet maybe not playing. So get in. Keaton Wallace, really good assist option. Trey Mann, I don't think that LaMelo is going to sit, but Trey will get his 22 anyway. And then in Toronto, if you're looking for some assists, Jamal Shed has been able to get his 16 minutes a night or so and get those numbers. If we go into points leagues, we'll start with Yahoo Fantasy Points. All these guys are 65% plus available at least. Wendell Carter Jr., Trey Jones, Jeremiah Fears, who just should be on a roster at this point. Royce O'Neal, similarly. And then lastly, it is Anthony Black. And then for ESPN points, the list is relatively similar. Not identical, but it is relatively similar. Oh, almost froze up there. Brandin Podziemski, Wendell Carter Jr., Royce O'Neal, Jeremiah Fears, and Mr. Black. So that's a look ahead for Tuesday with 6 games on. A couple of key injury things and some really important things to watch for, especially, I think, with the New Orleans Pelicans. Don't forget to thumb the video, like, comment, bang. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.